I'm Kathleen Sims, and I work with people to have more love in their relationships. And I often get asked the question, what is a soulmate? And I feel like the word actually these days is very overused. People are putting in that you read profiles and it'll say, I'm looking for my soulmate. And actually it's kind of the new buzzword for what I'm looking for is a lasting, loving relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have a soulmate in order to have a lasting, loving relationship. However, there is such a thing as a soulmate relationship, and I want to tell you because I've had one in my life. I actually attracted a soulmate into my life when I was 16 years old, and we were together 4 decades, so I speak from experience with this. What a soulmate relationship is, in my mind, as two people coming together and their soul vibration actually is attracted to one another, and they have a complementary purpose together on the planet. And oftentimes when they're first attracted and they come together, they oftentimes don't realize it. I was with my husband since I was 16 years old, and certainly I would say in the first 15 years that we were together, I knew we had something special and different, but I didn't understand it. And I did a lot of research and study and contemplation to really figure out what is it that happened to me when I realized that Jim was my soulmate, and I didn't even know what his name was yet. So what I found out was, and what I realized, was that we were actually almost guided to be together, if you will, because we had a bigger purpose in the world that actually came to fruition after we were a little bit older. Probably after we were together 15 or 20 years, it started revealing itself that we really were on the planet together purposefully to be a stand for real love in the world. And he had a role to play to get the word out about that, and I had a role to play to get the word out about that. And what he did actually was take care of all the things in our lives, like the kids and the house and the yard and all those different things. And he did it in the context of supporting me to go out and talk about relationship. And most of what I talk about comes from my experience of my relationship with Jim. And he felt like he was there with me, even though he was home. So it's two souls coming together with a complementary purpose where they serve each other and they also serve something bigger than themselves in the world. Now, we also can have a loving relationship that lasts for a lifetime, and it might not be a soulmate. And the way that occurs is that we have to do our inner growth work. We have to have inner growth work whether we're manifesting or attracting a soulmate, or whether we're attracting a lasting, loving partner that doesn't happen to be a soulmate. So to have love in our life, we don't have to have a soulmate, but what we do have to do is we have to do our inner work in order to open our hearts fully and connect at that level. And the base of our relationship really was that of growth, that we grew together in the relationship. We used the relationship for learning, personal learning for us as individuals, and learning in the relationship and how to relate better to one another. And that was because we used the relationship like a petri dish, like an experiment almost, about how good can it be. And we found that we had conflicts, we had our buttons pushed, we had things that occurred that were difficult to handle. And what would happen is we would actually embrace those things and look at them to see what I had to change, let's say in myself, and he would look at what did he have to change inside himself, so that we would respond to things that were difficult differently. And when I look over the many decades that we were together, I actually can see the change in how we behave differently in circumstances that were very difficult, until it started becoming easier and easier no matter what came into our lives. So each of us I know from experience that we can each have that in our life. But we have to look inside and work on ourselves. And I would love to help you do that work. Look inside and work on yourself in such a way that can manifest everlasting love in your life. I'd love for you to come to my website or contact me and ask me what questions are burning in your heart about relationships and love.